Cats are mysterious animals. If you have ever owned a cat, you have probably experienced a strange moment when your cat suddenly stops what it's doing and just stares at you. Maybe you're sitting on the couch watching TV, working on your computer, or even lying in bed, and then you notice your cat quietly watching you from across the room. Sometimes the stare lasts only a few seconds. Other times it feels like the cat is studying you very carefully. For many people, this behavior can feel funny, confusing, or even a little creepy. But the truth is, cats stare at humans for many interesting reasons. Cats communicate very differently from humans. Instead of speaking with words, they rely on body language, eye contact, scent, and small movements to express what they feel or want. When a cat stares at you, it is usually sending a message. Today we're going to explore 8 fascinating facts that explain why cats stare at their owners. Before we start, it's important to understand a little about domestic cats themselves. The modern house cat, scientifically known as Felis catus, has lived alongside humans for thousands of years. Despite living in our homes, cats still maintain many instincts from their wild ancestors. These instincts play a big role in how they observe and interact with the world around them. Let's begin with the first fact. The first reason cats stare at you is curiosity. Cats are naturally curious animals. In the wild, curiosity helps animals survive. They must constantly observe their surroundings to detect danger, find food, and understand their environment. Even though your cat lives comfortably inside your home, those instincts are still very strong. When your cat stares at you, it might simply be watching what you are doing. From your cat's perspective, you are one of the most interesting things in its environment. You move around the house, open cabinets, cook food, and interact with objects. Your cat watches these actions carefully to understand what might happen next. Sometimes your cat might stare because it has noticed a small movement. Even something as simple as your hand moving or your foot shifting position can catch a cat's attention. Cats are excellent observers. Their curiosity often drives them to study everything happening around them. The second fact is that cats stare because they want something. Many cat owners are familiar with this situation. You're sitting quietly, and your cat sits nearby and begins staring directly at you. After a moment, you realize it's close to feeding time. Cats are very good at learning routines. If you feed your cat at the same time every day, your cat will remember this schedule. When the time gets close, your cat may stare at you as a silent reminder. In this case, the stare is actually a request. Your cat is basically saying, "I'm hungry, and I know you are the one who provides food." Cats may also stare when they want attention, playtime, or access to something like a closed door. Because they cannot speak, staring becomes one of their ways of communicating their needs. The third fact is that cats stare as a sign of affection and trust. This might surprise some people, because in many animals, direct staring can be a sign of aggression. However, cats have a unique behavior that shows affection through eye contact. If your cat stares at you and then slowly blinks, this is often called a cat kiss. Animal behavior experts believe that slow blinking is a way for cats to show they feel safe. Closing their eyes briefly means they trust that nothing dangerous will happen while they cannot see clearly. If you slowly blink back at your cat, you may notice the cat relax or blink again. This small moment of eye contact can actually be a quiet expression of love between a cat and its owner. The fourth fact is that cats stare because of their hunting instincts. Cats are natural predators. Even the most relaxed house cat still has the instincts of a hunter. In the wild, cats rely on patience and focus when hunting prey. They watch their target carefully before making a move. This intense observation is a key part of hunting behavior. Sometimes when your cat stares at you, it may simply be focusing on your movements in the same way it would watch prey. This does not mean your cat is planning to attack you. Instead, it shows that the cat's natural instincts are still active. Even when playing with toys, cats often stare for a long moment before pouncing. That same focused stare can sometimes be directed toward their owners. The fifth fact is that cats stare to study human behavior. Cats are surprisingly intelligent observers. Over time, they learn a lot about their owner's habits and routines. Your cat may know exactly what it means when you walk toward the kitchen, pick up your phone, or put on your shoes. Because of this, cats often watch their owners closely to predict what might happen next. For example, if you usually feed your cat after waking up in the morning, your cat may stare at you the moment you open your eyes. The cat is waiting to see if the next step in the routine is about to happen. This behavior shows that cats are constantly learning about the humans they live with. The sixth fact is that cats stare because they are bored. Cats need mental stimulation and activity. When there is nothing interesting happening, they may turn their attention toward the most interesting thing in the room. If your cat sits and stares at you for a long time, it might simply be waiting for something exciting to happen. This could be a sign that your cat wants playtime. Interactive toys, climbing structures, and regular play sessions can help keep cats mentally and physically stimulated. When cats are engaged and entertained, they are less likely to stare out of boredom. The seventh fact is that cats stare because they hear or sense things humans cannot. Cats have incredibly sensitive hearing and vision. They can detect tiny movements and high-frequency sounds that humans often miss. If your cat suddenly stares at you or at something behind you, it might actually be reacting to a small sound or movement. For example, your cat might hear an insect flying, a mouse moving inside the wall, or even a distant sound outside the house. Because cats are so sensitive to these signals, they may appear to stare at nothing when in reality they are focused on something humans cannot detect. This heightened awareness helps explain why cats often seem alert and observant. The eighth and final fact is that cats stare to keep track of their environment. Cats are territorial animals. In the wild, staying aware of their surroundings is essential for survival. Even inside a home, cats maintain this habit of monitoring their environment. Your cat may stare at you simply because you are an important part of that environment. Knowing where you are and what you are doing helps the cat feel secure. If you move from one room to another, your cat may watch carefully to understand where you are going. In this way, staring is simply part of the cat's natural awareness. Throughout history, humans have been fascinated by cats and their mysterious behavior. Even famous internet cats like Grumpy Cat became popular partly because of their intense facial expressions and staring eyes. These expressions made people around the world laugh and feel connected to the personality of a single cat. But behind that famous stare is a deeper truth about cats. They are complex animals with instincts shaped by thousands of years of evolution. Their staring behavior may seem strange, but it is actually part of how they observe, communicate, and interact with the world. So the next time your cat stares at you from across the room, remember that it might be curious about what you're doing. It might be asking for food or attention. It might be expressing trust, studying your routine, or simply keeping track of its environment. That quiet gaze is one of the many ways cats communicate with the humans they share their lives with. And in many ways, that mysterious stare is part of what makes cats such fascinating companions.